Good afternoon. Hi, welcome to the DHSS Reorganization Committee Personnel Subgroup. My name is Monica Gonzalez Gillespie. We will, I suppose, take roll call. Alexa, is that something that you're going to help us with? Sorry, we didn't.
Technically, you don't have to do a roll call. I can see that we have a quorum, but if you want to do introductions, we can do introductions.
Well, I'd like to just, call on whoever is on to please introduce themselves.
Sure.
So did I hear the secretary's on?
Yes, ma'am. Hi, everyone.
Hi. You're Molly? Your secretary, Molly?
Hey, Molly McGarrick.
Hi, thanks for joining us. Director Newman?
Yes, I'm David Noonan, Director of Management Services at DHSS.
Thank you for joining us. And sorry, Sherry, I don't have a title for you in my head.
I'm the HR Director for DHSS.
Okay, hi, Sherry. So I think that's all we have right now. Alexa, is that correct? I don't want to not introduce someone.
And Doris is with us.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Please.
Good afternoon. Hi, I am Doris Griffin. I serve as Executive Director for the Delaware Adolescent Program Incorporated.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't know you were on. I'm on my phone because I'm having issues with my laptop. You know how this goes. So I can't see everybody. So I appreciate that. So, and thank you and welcome. So I think the first order of business, and I'm hoping you got the correct agenda. We had a little mishap. That's why I don't get involved in doing these things, because I tend to screw them up if I do. But anyway, so thank you, Alexa, for setting up the meeting and for sending out the minutes and also the agenda. I do believe the minutes were attached to at least one of the emails. So I think we just got Meredith on. Meredith, do you want to take? Hi.
Oh, I'm sorry. Meredith Tweedy. Christiana Care, am I introducing myself? I apologize. I couldn't join in non-webinar when I tried to do it on my other device. So sorry, I'm on audio, but yeah, VP of Government Affairs, Christiana Care, formerly state government, somewhat familiar with personnel in DHSS from a prior life.
All right, thanks, Meredith.
That might be more than you needed. All right.
I had my own technical issues, so I completely understand, or we do anyway. So, so hopefully that each one of you has received the February 24th, 2020 meeting minutes and perhaps had a chance to look through them. I didn't find anything to revise. So is there any questions or comments, or do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Any
Molly
comments or
McGarrick.
corrections? Oh, I forgot the second, right? Somebody's got to second it.
I did. So Ms. Green is the first, and then this is Molly. I was the second.
Thank you, Secretary. Any on the question? Okay, so I guess we are approving the minutes of February 24th, 2020. Thank you. Thank you for that. I hope everybody's staying safe over this year. I know it's been challenging, but we were asked, by the senator to hold a meeting. And we had some conversations back and forth on our role, because I think when we started out, we started looking at, sort of DHSS FTEs in general and changes that had been made since 2009 through, at the time was, I guess, 2019. And I'm sure there's been plenty more over the past year. So we probably need an update on that. But more so what I discussed with Alexa and going back and forth is that it really seems that our role should be, and I think we actually sent these recommendations in, is that we should be able to look at other subgroups recommendations and see how it affects employees. And at this point, I have not received any recent recommendations from the subgroups. So Alexa, I'm not sure if you have anything, if you can provide a status of the other subgroups and where they are with their recommendations.
So currently, the subgroups are wrapping up their work and they are finalizing their recommendations. And there are, the minutes are public of things that were discussed at previous subgroup meetings. The other three subgroups have been meeting, give or take, for the most part since January. After the pandemic, they stopped meeting, and then we started meeting in virtual format in January. Their recommendations will be finalized and ready to go when the reorganization committee reconvenes, most likely in a few weeks. We have not set a date yet, but everybody will at least have at least 2 weeks notice prior to that date being set. So that way the chairs can review the recommendations of the subgroups. So that's when everybody will kind of be able to see what the other subgroups have been working on.
All right, well, thank you for that. I appreciate that because I know that it's been challenging, obviously, to try and get together and also to produce some kind of recommendations. So at this point, I was just I knew this was going to be a short meeting if we didn't have the recommendations yet, but is there any other comment from the group regarding our purpose and our role in the subgroup that really involves personnel, but without having to go through all of the changes that have occurred, I guess, in the past 10 years or 12 years, and perhaps getting an update from if anything has occurred as far as reductions or additions over the last year. Does anybody have questions about our role as a subgroup or comments? Okay, at this point then, I guess we'll move on to public comment. So is there anyone in the public that would like to comment?
On my end, I do not see any attendees present today. So we do not have anyone signed up to speak, and there's no one that has raised their hand.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that, Alexa. At this point, if it sounds like the recommendations will not be sort of posted or forthcoming until the larger group meets, I almost feel like we need to have a meeting after that larger group so that we can figure out if any, what our next steps are, if any recommendations, I guess, are accepted. Does anyone else have any comments on that? Okay.
This is Molly. I will just say, I mean, obviously we've continued to respond to the pandemic and have, made some changes. Obviously we've tried to be mindful, and we're aware that we're still under the task force, but have also tried to seize opportunities where they exist. So we added a second deputy secretary position. We're looking at other changes, including creating better alignment with Division of Management Services and the Secretary's office. So we're obviously excited to see what recommendations come out, but we're also mindful that in a lot of ways, and even before the pandemic, the work of all of the subcommittees and the larger task force was, I think, much more aligned with what we as the department saw were our needs and challenges and opportunities for change than I think maybe people thought at the outset of the task force. So, again, we're excited to see the changes, but we have already started moving forward with what we think a fair amount of them will be.
Right, and I think you also had a recommendation report before when we first started that you had been working on some changes at that point. So, well, not you, I guess, former Dr. Walker had. So
we had a draft strategic plan. I think what we realized, especially throughout the pandemic, is those are really good higher level goals, but we have some foundational pieces that we probably need to work towards as initial steps. And some of that includes adding capacity and making sure that our department, the pieces of our department that we need to be in better alignment with the Secretary's office to support those next steps and sort of the more sophisticated 21st century agency that we all want to be are really, again, kind of foundational initial things that we need to do, sort of walk before we run.
Right, that makes sense. Right, well, certainly appreciate your comments, Secretary. And unless anyone else has comments, the invitations from now on will come from Alexa, not my office. So that was a little bit of the confusion earlier, so I apologize for that. So look for, I guess, the larger group invite from, I guess you'll be handling that also, Alexa, and then following up, we'll tentatively schedule a subgroup meeting once that larger meeting occurs.
Yep, I will make sure that everyone is is aware of when the meeting will be for the overall task force. I know some of you, I believe Monica, you sit on the overall task force.
Well, I actually have to have a conversation with Amy because I was sitting in for the former DHR secretary, and Amy was on for OMB. So I'm not sure if you'd like me to continue to stay, or I may just attend as public, so I know what's going on.
So I believe Amy is no longer with the task force because she's no longer with
OMB.
the affiliated group. So I believe that you are still on the overall task force. I will confirm that before the meeting, and that we will just be having a new designee from OMB.
Okay, got it. And I will check with Amy and make sure that she would like me to be designated or if she wants to attend personally. So, so you're saying I'm the one that's designated right now. So I'll know. Okay. All right. I think without any other business at this point, I'm going to close the meeting and thank you all for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.